This phone is a purple iPhone 14 Pro. The purple color inside the rear glass is peeling off in some areas, and the metal frame on the purple iPhone 14 Pro looks like this after wear. Everyone, take a look. So let's try plugging in the charger and see. When I plug in the charger, there's just a tiny bit of charging current. It's clearly not normal. The phone screen doesn't show anything at all. We've confirmed that the phone won't turn on. According to the fan's description, initially, the phone screen was hit by a beer bottle, yet there didn't seem to be any problem at first, but the main board ended up causing a no power on situation upon opening the phone. It looks like the battery cell was transplanted from somewhere else. The phone's interior is also extremely dirty. Removing the metal plate, we discovered that the black sticker on the motherboard is gone, as well as the phone pad on the work table. Taking out the screen, let's have a look. There's still something really sticky in the lower right corner of the screen. That's weird. What is that stuff? So, let's continue and remove the motherboard. Disconnect all the extended flex cables that connect the motherboard. Taking out these fixed screws will allow us to remove the motherboard. We also need to remove the earpiece and the front camera flex assembly. Once the motherboard is out, we can examine it more closely. It's definitely been repaired before. A lot of parts on the back are missing. We tear off this sticker and take another look at the middle layer. Indeed, the board has been split into layers before, and upon careful inspection, these 2 points were originally test points, but the previous repair technician connected them together. Let's check the schematic to see what these 2 test points are. One leads to the positive terminal of the battery, and the other goes to the main power supply. Could it be that connecting these 2 points caused the fault? We hook up a power meter and press the power button to observe the current. The initial current spike is obviously high, and it won't power on. It keeps cycling in a loop. Those in the know realize that this indicates the CPU upper layer, the so-called temporary storage, isn't functioning, also known as the RAM not working. We separate the upper and lower layers of the motherboard to take a closer look. First, let's check the upper layer. From the shielding cover, we can see it suffered a heavy impact. Nothing looks suspicious on the lower layer. We put the single upper layer on the thermal imaging camera, press the power button, and observe. Strangely enough, it starts right up. But even when it powers on, the initial current spike is still quite high, around 130 milliamperes. The fan mentioned that from what they saw in the video, the battery drains really fast. Could the issue be in the lower layer, causing the phone not to power on, while the upper layer is leaking current? After measuring, the lower layer seems normal. We then supply the lower layer directly with power and see there's no leak. So let's first separate those 2 points on the upper layer under the microscope. We inspect the upper layer. Upon closer inspection, the main power IC on the upper layer has been replaced before, and the inductor coil next to the main power IC has turned black inside. Normally, it should have a yellow copper coil. That means these coils were exposed to high temperature and large current, causing them to burn. Why did it end up this way? Let me hazard a guess to spread some knowledge. I hope you can double tap to give a like, comment, and share. Thank you. We'll protect everything around the inductors. Now, we remove the glue from these damaged inductors, and we remove the capacitor next to the inductor to make it easier to take out the damaged inductors. But when we were removing glue from the third inductor, it actually just fell off. So that means the problem lies in these 3 inductors. These 3 circuits provide step up and step down functions for the CPU and the upper layers, basically for the temporary storage. Their absence or damage can cause current leakage and prevent the phone from turning on. So here's the question. Why did it end up like this? Only by summarizing and reflecting can we gain more experience. We replace all 3 inductors and clean up everything before reassembling the upper and lower layers. Let's test the upper layer by adding power again. Now the initial current spike is around 80 milliamperes. This shows there's no leakage current anymore. Clearly, those step-up inductors can indeed cause a power leak. Next, we'll rub all the lower layer and fuse the upper and lower layers together. Now, getting back to our earlier point, the fan said a beer bottle hit the phone. However, the screen wasn't damaged, but the force transferred to the motherboard, likely cracking or damaging the main power IC. When a repair technician tries to find the damaged part or area of overheating, they often use a power meter and do what's called burn-in. Burn-in means supplying power to see which part heats up, but the phone's working principle is from the battery to the battery connector, then to the charging IC, and from the charging IC to the main power supply for all the chips. So if there's a short after the charging IC, it's hard to detect. That's why the repair shop connected those 2 test points, eventually discovering the main power IC was damaged. Then they replaced the main power IC, but those step-up/step-down inductors next to the main power IC are also covered in glue. Without careful temperature control or adequate protection, those inductors can get damaged or turn black. It could be the previously damaged main power IC caused a short downstream, leading to the inductor burn. And what is an inductor? Inside, it's basically a coil of copper wire. It can step voltages up or down. Its function varies in different circuits. After we've given the motherboard a makeover, we finish the installation. We also clean the mesh inside the earpiece for the fan. Some people quietly watch the video, but they secretly give likes, comments, shares, reposts. and follows. Those people are just the sweetest. We clean the back of the screen, then install the screen. Some repairs, especially on motherboards, can't always be fully resolved in one shot. It's not that the technician doesn't want a perfect fix, but there are often hidden issues. It doesn't mean I can fix it entirely on this try. Every repair technician hopes to fix the motherboard in a single go and avoid the hassle of re-repairs. So, when problems occur, communication and understanding are paramount. Now we plug in the charger. The phone displays the Apple logo. We enter the fan's passcode. First, we check the Wi-Fi and network reception. On the iPhone 14 Pro, if Wi-Fi is working on the upper layer baseband, it means the lower layer is functioning normally. This is a 128GB iPhone 14 Pro. Entering *#06 hashtag brings up the IMEI number, which means the baseband is fine, the lower layer is fused perfectly. But even so, it doesn't guarantee the phone is 100% fixed. We still need 2 or 3 days of testing. If the fault reappears, we'll have to re-examine the upper layer to fully solve the problem. Thank you all.